Welcome to Life Happens, where Texans come to protect their legacy and prepare for the second half of life. Join your host, attorney Kim Hegwood.
Good morning and welcome to Life Happens with me, Kim Hegwood, and our very special guest today is Diana Moinot. Good morning.
Good morning, Kim. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm excited too because you're going to talk about something I'm a big fan of, and that's life insurance. And because we're going to talk about all the different cool things you can do with life insurance because people don't know that, So, when we talk to them about, hey, going to see your insurance person, think about it. We're going to do some fun things. So today we're going to talk about insurance as a lifeline, protecting families through estate and long-term care planning because insurance is not just for death anymore. So having said that, many families think life insurance is just life insurance, So I want you to talk to them about the broader role that insurance plays in estate planning, long-term care planning, and asset protection.
Yes, I'd love to. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to share. So, I've been in business for 10 years and I've been able to keep in contact with my clients over the years. My average insured has been with me over 8.5 years. And so I get to see them go with the ups and downs of life, babies, death in the family, divorce, remarriage, blended families. Mom needs care, dad needs care. And it is something that just is part of life. And um, one of the things I see is life insurance can be part of estate planning, that it helps you with liquidating assets instead of having to put something to sale in a time where things are very chaotic. You're able to have the option of having the liquid assets right then and there when the money is needed the most. Um, Estate taxes, debts, funeral expenses, those need to be paid quickly, and life insurance provides that. Another thing that life insurance can do is in long-term care planning is that it can there's different types of life insurance that can provide the long-term care, either through a traditional long-term care policy or a hybrid or even a term or permanent policy that has living benefits. In asset protection, life insurance, again, is protected from creditors. And I think that working with an estate planning attorney like yourself gives people the confidence of knowing that they've planned ahead of time and that they stand in a place of clarity and not fear.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of overfunding life insurance policies, and because you can always use that money later. And
Yes.
so yes, I think life insurance is fantastic. So, but you just talked about the fact that you work with families who are, caring for aging parents, and spouse and things like that. So, what are the common gaps that you see in the insurance planning, and how can those gaps put assets or care options at risk?
Yes. Well, I myself have been dealing with taking care of a loved one, my mother, for the last 6.5 years, and we didn't have a plan in place, and I've had to learn it the hard way, and I've used that to, as I learned, to share it with friends, with clients, to help and encourage them to plan, because what I mostly see when I work with people is that they didn't have a plan, just like me, and they think Medicare is going to cover everything, and it doesn't. And Medicare is a whole world of its own. I strongly recommend people to connect with a Medicare specialist because they can guide them through that. But again, Medicare doesn't cover everything. So life insurance, it plays a big role in estate planning and long-term care planning. Um, some of the Besides not having the plan in place, they may not have enough insurance, or the insurance that they have is not the right type of insurance. I recently had someone pass away. A client's husband passed away, and she thought he had life insurance the whole time. And when he passed away, she found out that it was accidental death and dismemberment insurance, not life insurance. And and so it was very scary for her because she was under the assumption and that she had something that in place that she didn't. And it's brings us to the point of being able to communicate that there is a plan, even in husband and wives, and knowing where those policies are, who they're with, so that when something happens, the loved one can reach out to the agent, to the carrier, to the attorney, to that professional that's been trusted with that piece of the long-term care plan, or in the event of someone's passing away. Um, let's see. The other thing that I realized is that when someone passes away and there is no plan in place, then sometimes the loved one the wife, the children have to sell the home, sell the business at a loss, or, at a time where they're not in a position to negotiate well and advocate for themselves. And so a lot of money is lost, and it doesn't go the way it was supposed to go.
So, Diana, we find that families often have life insurance through work, and then they retire and they lose all their life insurance and they don't have anything, So we talk to clients, we send them to great life insurance specialists like yourself, and to say, hey, you need to get something outside of work, especially, so that it lasts longer. And two, I'm sure, Diana, like, you're happy to review clients' insurance policies to make sure they have all the right things as well. And we encourage clients to do that. But life insurance can do more than just, I think you talked earlier, than just cover funeral expenses, because you think about having that right policy and, for the surviving spouse, or maybe you've got, children, that can help pay, mortgages, debts, and ongoing expenses. Listen to that. Because one of the things that I used to tell husbands a lot, when they had minor children, was, do you know how much money it's going to cost you to replace your wife if she passes? You now have to pay a housekeeper. You now have to, potentially you've got a nanny. You also have to have a lawn guy because you don't have time to do that anymore. And how do you talk to clients about thinking about those expenses as well?
Yes, life insurance provides lost income to be able to continue paying for the mortgage, being able to continue to pay for utilities, property taxes, household expenses, childcare, education, special support services. And life insurance creates breathing room. And, during a time that's very stressful and very difficult for people.
We tease clients a lot that plan A is when the second one of them passes, the last check they write bounces. And I had one tell, he goes, well, what about the funeral home? I'm like, oh no, that one has to clear. That's the one that has to clear. It can't be that one. And but we do a lot of special needs planning in my office. We have a lot of parents that have children with disabilities. I have one. So it's really important to think about the cost of care. And so when you think about, how much is it going to take to pay for the care of a child that has a disability, to supplement those government, benefits, to make sure they have the best quality of life that you can have. So how do you talk to clients about trying to determine how much insurance they need?
Yes. So with the life insurance, it is used to fund a special needs trust, and so this way the child, the person that is the beneficiary, is able to still qualify for much needed government benefits while still having the ability to enhance their quality of life through the therapies, through the adaptive equipment, through education, through support services, recreational opportunities, to help them have a nice quality of life while still preserving the benefits that they get from the government programs. And it also helps it not to be a burden onto the next generation. I have a client who his wife's sister passed away. She had a special needs son that's 24 years old, and they didn't have any other outside family. So now my friend and his wife are the caretakers of her nephew, and he is setting up a trust, special needs trust, to ensure that his children will not be burdened in the event that him and his wife pass away, being able to provide for his nephew in the event that he's no longer here, and it's not a burden to the other family members, to his kids, which would then be tasked with uh, looking after him, and because he is still young. And um, so the special needs trust, funded with life insurance, working with an estate planning attorney that helps coordinate all of those pieces together. It is such a blessing and such a peace of mind to families dealing with that. And I think I see more and more families with autistic children, with you know, children that just will not be able to be on their own, and parents have to plan for taking care of them even after they're gone, and also making it easier for the next generation, or the other family members that are going to be looking after that loved one.
That's huge because sometimes the care is astronomical or can be very expensive, to take care of them. And the goal is to make sure they're happy, healthy, and well cared for always. So, but we find in my practice, as we've all gotten just a tad bit older, that long-term care is one of the biggest financial threats families face. And so, because nobody likes to think about getting older, nobody wants to think about that they might decline, that they might, that. And I tell clients, and we talk about it all the time, that we plan for disability way more than we plan for death. Death is easy. That's
Yes.
it. But long-term care is something that everyone needs to be planning for. And so what type of insurance solutions can help protect assets, give families more control over where and how the care is provided, and that you specifically recommend?
Yes, yes. So there is traditional long-term care insurance. And there's also a hybrid where you have a life insurance policy with a long-term care rider. And then there's also long-term care benefits called living benefits on a term or a permanent life insurance policy. People with and so there is something for everyone at different budget levels. Sometimes people think, well, long term care insurance is just too expensive and I can't afford it. But you can still get critical, chronic, and terminal illness benefits on a term policy for a very small fraction of the cost. And that's something that a lot of people don't know. And that's because not all carriers will offer that on a term policy. But I do offer carriers that give the living benefits on there, and there's no additional premium charge for it. It's only if you have a triggering event that you pay an admin fee, and it's usually anywhere from $100 to $500 one time, depending on the carrier. But that helps people with being able to not think that it's out of reach, because sometimes if we think that it's too expensive, we don't even try. So knowing that there is an option for everyone at any budget level, just about, to be able to plan and do something. Because I tell my clients, a little insurance is still better than no insurance. And sometimes, we may start off at a certain level, and then as things improve, we are able to tailor it, change it, make a new strategy, and increase coverage. But just having something in place to get started, it goes a long way.
For those listeners who feel overwhelmed or unsure about where to start, what first steps should they take to evaluate whether their current insurance or estate planning truly aligns with their family's long-term goals?
Well, one of the first things I recommend is that they gather their insurance policies, all their policies, gather their financial statements, so that they are able to look at the big picture of what they have, their assets and their insurance policies. How well are they covered? Then the next step is, I think that they need to ask themselves, if something was to happen, does my family have the funds, that can access funds to be able to continue paying for the immediate needs? The next question is, will their quality of life suffer Are they prepared? Do we have things in place for them to continue with their current lifestyle? And thirdly, if something was to happen and I needed care, do I have a plan in place for myself? And those three simple questions, I think, help get their mind prepared as they, make the biggest step, which is then calling you and their insurance advisor to be able to coordinate and just to have a strategy session. I know that you offer a free strategy session, and so do I. And getting that started helps people know where they are and start planning for the future. After usually with the strategy sessions, I think in both of our cases, you are able to identify other trusted professionals to recommend depending on what the situation is with the family, so that they are also able to be part of that planning and to be able to have a comprehensive plan to help get fear out, bring clarity in, because I think we all function better with coming from a place of clarity and peace.
Actually, peace of mind is something that we provide. And so, definitely making sure, because that's what you want. You want to know that everything's okay for now,
Yeah.
and so definitely. So, Diana, if somebody wants to reach out to you, how do they find you?
Well, you can reach me by email at diana@miginsurance.us. You can also call my office at 281-892-1455. I'm also on all the social media platforms, Diana Moinot, Diana, and my last name is Moinot, Moinot. But I'm the only Diana Moinot, apparently, out ever. So it's pretty easy to find. But I like to just make sure I bring peace and clarity to people, and also believe that sharing my faith with them, praying with them, helps them to have that peace of mind, and that knowing that as we try to honor our commitments to our families, our parents, that God honors us and He also provides what we need.
Most definitely. I tell everybody all the time, I am truly blessed. And
Yes.
so, thanks, Diana. And we look forward to having you on again soon.
Thank you, Kim. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Life Happens with Kim Hegwood. Be sure to tune in every Thursday at 10 a.m. wherever you listen to your podcasts as we navigate through the challenges that emerge as life happens. The content of this podcast does not establish an attorney-client relationship or constitute attorney-client privilege, legal, medical, financial, or any other professional advice.